Hello and welcome to another Simple Stamping Saturday with me, Liz Yuille from Old Stables Crafts. I'm a UK-based independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. So, I've got a lovely Easter Simple Stamping Saturday project for you. So let me flip the camera down and we'll have a look. So this is the stamp set that we're going to be using today. It's the Easter Friends, and I'm using this really cute bunny. He is so cute. So I need just 2 ink pads. So these 2, this one is optional, as in I've used it to decorate the envelope. So if you don't want to, or you want to use just the 1 ink pad, then that's fine. You could use a different colour brown, but it's, or indeed a grey, but I'm going with a brown bunny because the wild rabbits around us are kind of brown. So let me get this sorted out. So this is the card that we are making, and this is where I've decorated the envelope. So I just need my white note card and envelope. These are basic white, really wonderful card bases for quick projects. I've got my eye block. You could use your Stamparatus if you're concerned about positioning, rocking, that sort of thing, or if you're worried that you won't get the image really crisp. You could use your Stamparatus, and that means you can stamp over and over again in the same place. So here's my crease. I'm just going to ink up my bunny, and it doesn't matter whether you take the ink to the stamp or the stamp to the ink. I do both, and I do both just as the whim takes me, for no good reason. Now he's slightly on an angle, but only very slightly, so the key here is to make sure that we have him only on a slight angle and not kind of like that, or indeed like that. So this is where I'm looking. I'm not looking at his body. His body gets narrower as it goes further up, so I am not looking at that. I'm looking at his feet, and then stamp this down. Now the order in which you stamp these 2 images, so the rabbit and the sentiment, are really up to you. If you're worried about your spacing, you may want to do your sentiment first. So there's my rabbit looking off to the left, and we're going to just ink up our Happy Easter, and I'm going to pop that down here like that. Now we could leave it like that. I haven't. I have done a little bit of blending, and I've done that with one of our lovely blender pens. Let me grab, actually it was that one that I was using. I like to just make sure that A, it's wet, and B, it's running clear, even though I do clean them at the end of after I use them every time. And for me, this area down here that's already got printing on the grid paper is a great place to start. So I'm just going to come in and very gently, remembering not to be in one place for too long, as in don't rub over one area for too long. I'm very gently just going to blend that ink so that we've got a little bit of shading underneath the image. I'm not going to take it over the body because there isn't enough ink, and to get that to work I would end up pilling my ink, my paper, not my ink. So just come out of the edge a little. Let me just move that out of the way, because what I'm going to do is just, very quickly zoom in on that so that you can see a little bit better what we're doing. So this area I've blended, this area I haven't, and you can see that this is quite stark by comparison to this area. So that's why I'm doing the blending. It's just to soften the whole image a little bit. and I do try to go in straight lines rather than circles, and the reason for that again is to help reduce the possibility of pilling the paper. It's not an attractive look. I'll show you in a moment what it looks like, but it really isn't nice. And that is our card. Now I'll fold it and do the envelope, and then I will show you what pilling looks like. So just fold it on your crease line. The crease line is already there. Bone folder is a great tool for getting a really crisp edge. And then if we bring in an envelope and my Granny Apple Green ink pad, my bunny may be a little bit too much on a jaunty angle, but I'm comfortable with that. And then I'm just bringing this in at the bottom here and doing some in second generation ink, because it's a shame not to, really. So there is our little bit of fun for the envelope. Right, now let me grab a piece of, this is thick Whisper White, which is the same as this. So let me pop that away. I'm going to grab another image. I'm going to use the little chick because he should fit. Just to show you what I mean by pilling, and also why straight lines are better than circles when you're blending. So here's our blender pen again, and if I do my straight lines I get this nice blend and we're all very happy. If however I go in a circle, we still get a nice blend, but what we get very quickly is this. Now let me zoom in again and see if I can show you what that looks like. This has actually broken off the paper because I've been applying too much. You see, it's not focused terribly well, but I think you can see there is this rather unattractive little blob here, and that is paper that's broken down, because although this is almost dry, as in it's meant to be almost dry, going in one area you're going to overload your paper very quickly, whereas going in a straight line you are less inclined to cover the same area too much. So that's pilling. Let me clean that off, pop the lid back on. These last for a really long time. Oh, just realised I was off camera. Let me pop that back in. There we go. So these last a really long time. They come in a pack of 3. So if you get 3, you'll have them for, you know, a good period of time. Obviously, the more you use them, the quicker they will dry up. So back to our project. This is, let's get rid of that. This is our simple stamping version. If I pull in my next version, it's this. Now this is some of our shimmer white cardstock, and I used this on my Top Tip Tuesday earlier this week with watercolor pencils, but it can take more liquid. So for this I've done exactly the same, but this time rather than using the blender pen, I've used one of our water painters, and I've used the one, they come in a pack of 3, it's a common thing, and this is the narrowest of the nibs. Just so you know, they for some reason unscrew the wrong way. When these first came out, we were all going, how do you get into them? And the answer is you screw them and unscrew them the wrong way, the way that is less common, should I say. And if you don't tighten it up too much, that's better, because that lets more water run through your pen. You just squeeze it to get the water flowing, and if you don't have this too tight or too loose, it means that the water can flow nice and easily. Of course, I now need a cloth, or just flick it on the floor. That works too. So this is our stepped up version. Same ink. I have fussy cut the Happy Easter because I wanted it hanging off the edge. For no other reason than I wanted it hanging off the edge. I stamped it in one, so I wanted it on top of each other. I stamped it all in one go and then fussy cut it, and then stitched rectangles on Pale Papaya. So this is Calypso Coral, which is a really nice blend with Pale Papaya. This is the stepped up version again. So this is watercolour paper. Again, I used this on Top Tip Tuesday with watercolour pencils. So this, again, water painter. I used a lot more ink to get a good crisp image. I stamped this with the Stamparatus about 3 times because the watercolour paper, the Fluid 100 paper, is slightly bumpy, as in it's got a texture to it. Stamping it a few more times than just once gets you a much better image. And of course with the Stamparatus you stamp in the same place every time. And then I just moved the ink around with my water painter, and this time I just did selective inking. So I did the Happy, stamped that, cleaned my stamp, did the Easter, stamped that, and then we've got Happy Easter stacked. Piece of the Open Weave Pale Papaya ribbon. In Europe this has been going in and out of stock, so if you want it you need to check that it's in stock. And then I've used some of the In Colour Jewels, and I used the Pale Papaya ones obviously because we're on Pale Papaya. So there you are, my 3 versions of the card. So all almost exactly the same, but we've gone from something very quick and simple, stepped it up a bit, stepped it up a bit more, and there are my 3 cards. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Let me flip the camera back up. So yes, if you did enjoy it, please give me a thumbs up. And if you don't already subscribe to my channel, please do so by hitting, by hitting the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. There'll be a little subscribe button, and then you'll get an alert. If you ring the alert bell, click the alert bell, you'll get an alert whenever I post a video or when I go live. And I do that twice a week, on Tuesday morning at 11 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday UK time, and Thursday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon UK time. Love to see you there. Thank you very much indeed. If you need any Stampin' Up products, you'll see a link to my online store below, and you'll also find a link to the blog post that goes with this, so you'll see more pictures of the projects. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you again very soon.